name's Garry Zlotnik. I was involved in Federation in the late 80s and 90s as a canvasser. In 2002, I became the chair of the Jewish Community Foundation to 2005. And then in 2007, I became chair of the Federation from 2007 to 2009. So I first got involved in Federation because it's in our blood. The Zlotnik blood is a giving back family. My father was the head of the campaign in the 60s, UIA. My brother Marty was also head of JFSA a long time ago. And so it's a natural thing for me to become involved. We like to be participants rather than spectators. And that's why I got involved. We have a small Jewish community in Vancouver. There's a lot of needs. There's a lot of organizations that go direct to donors, and really felt we needed a strong federation to maximize the philanthropic opportunities we have in our community to serve all the needs of the Jewish community in Vancouver. Well, in the early days, it was a bit of a struggle. It was a struggle because, as I mentioned earlier, organizations were going direct to donors. We really needed to build the profile of Federation as an organization that people had confidence in, that wanted an organization that could be total community-wide and support the entire community. And I think that was probably one of the biggest, earliest challenges. And I think with the really strong leadership that we had in place then, we had a strong executive director, and I think we really increased the profile of Federation in the community. Well, the largest challenge that I personally faced was I was the chair of the Federation when the economic collapse hit in 2008. And worked very hard with Mark Irvis, our director at that particular point in time. And really we had to, to watch our pennies and work with all the agencies to understand that the dollars weren't going to be there. And it was a very difficult time, but I give the community a lot of credit. Everybody was very understanding. We maximized where we could. We were efficient, and we made it through, and it became a stronger organization. The other challenge was when I was chair of the Jewish Community Foundation was getting it to a point where people wanted to leave a legacy, and they wanted to leave a legacy to us as a community, and let the community decide where the best places to allocate dollars from a foundation standpoint. That was a big challenge. The foundation at that point in time was very small. There were bigger foundations in the community, but we did raise a profile, and we started to get bequests and legacies. And I think we were only about $10 million under management when I was the community chair, and now we're close to $50 million. That $50 million is amazing. $50 million, when you allocate out $1.5 to $2 million a year, is a quarter of our annual campaign. So the challenge turned into, I think, something we worked hard on that made it a success. What I'm most proud of is just being a part of a fantastic organization and meeting fantastic people and having an opportunity to lead a mission to Israel in 2008, when it was a very difficult point in time for Israel and actually for the world with the economic collapse, terrorism, etc. But for me, that was a real highlight. We had a full bus in Israel, and it was a tremendous bonding experience, a tremendous opportunity for me personally to get a better feel for why we're doing what we're doing. The biggest differences today is that the needs were maybe a little smaller 10, 15 years ago. The needs today, we're thinking big now. We're thinking big in terms of community needs. We're thinking big in terms of our seniors, new facilities for our seniors, bigger synagogues, bigger schools. So I think the challenges today are that the needs for dollars are a lot bigger than they were 15 years ago. I think the community itself, because of the cost of living in Vancouver, is a bit dispersed. I think the community was probably a little tighter 10 to 15 years ago. So let's face it, Vancouver's a very expensive place to live. And I think it's going to be a challenge for our federation now to reach out to those younger families that are living in the suburban areas of Vancouver and bringing them into the fold. One of the things that was very exciting for me was not only when I was on the foundation board, I was also chair of the Maccabee Games, and that was a fantastic opportunity to bring the community together and reach out to families through sports in the entire Vancouver metropolitan area. It's a basic principle, tikkuila. We must give back. We must help our Jewish community. There's so many people that are in need. What Federation can do is can properly plan how to best allocate a dollar. Where can we allocate that dollar where it's best needed through proper research, proper planning, to make sure that the people who are supporting Federation, that their dollar is being best utilized to help the community here and the community in Israel. Well, I think Federation, it's together, right? We're working together. We're bringing the entire community together. We're not segmenting, isolating out institutions. We have an opportunity to work together as an entire community to serve community needs. So I think that's important. I think for me, the opportunity to work with so many fantastic people, to learn from community leaders when I was a younger person, now being a little bit older, I'm more of a senior statesman in the community. When I first started, I had an opportunity to work with fantastic community leaders, to learn from them, and to develop lifelong relationships. And those relationships are so valuable to me. I think that's the greatest thing about being in community service. From my standpoint, it's not only the fact that you're giving back, it's the fact that you have an opportunity to develop relationships with fantastic members of our community. You're strengthening the entire community. You're working with all sorts of different people from different backgrounds, different political spectrums, different, whether conservative, reform, orthodox. Everybody's working together. And let's face it, we're a small community. Our population is minuscule compared to all the other ethnic groups in the city of Vancouver. So we need to band together. We need to stick together. We need to show strength. And Federation is that one place that can show strength on behalf of the entire community.